Okay, so welcome back to this channel. So in our previous videos, we have successfully integrated Stripe for the payment, and now we are also creating the order on the successful payment. So now we have our orders in the database. Now we have to display the orders of the current user on the user profile. Okay, for example, if I go to my Chrome, here if I go to the profile, we have here the orders. Okay, so we have to display all the orders of the current user in the user profile. And before that, I have seen a bug here that we are displaying here all 5 stars. Okay, so we have to correct that. So I go back to my VS Code and I go to the components, here in the products, sorry, not here, in the layouts we have filters, and here in the star ratings, here we have type 5. I have to use here rating, save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here now it is correct. Okay, so now first of all, let's handle our backend part for the orders. So I simply close this from here, go to the backend, controllers, order controllers. Okay, and then here at the top I will export const my orders. Okay, and that is going to be async request response. Now in here, first of all, I have to get all the products of the current user, and also I have to implement the pagination for the orders. Okay, so what I do here is I first of all create here const res per page, how many results we want to display per page, for example 2. Then I will type here orders count, that is going to be await order dot count documents, so it will give us total number of orders. And now we have to implement the pagination, and for that I will use here my API filters. So API filters is going to be new API filters. Okay, in that we have to pass in here the query and then the query string. So I'll simply type here order, and then I will pass in here query, sorry, request dot query, and then I will use here dot pagination. In the pagination we have to pass in here the results per page. So I will pass that. Now it will implement the pagination on the orders. All right, so now after that we have to execute the query. So const orders is going to be await API filters dot query. Okay, and now we also have to now here we only have to get the orders of the current user. We don't want all orders. Okay, so we have to filter out the results. So for that I will simply type here dot find. Okay, so now in the find, I will type here that where user is going to be request dot user dot underscore id. So it will give us the orders of the current user. Okay, and now I also want to populate the shipping info and the user. Remember that if I go to the models, here you can see that we only have saved the ID of the shipping info. Okay, now on the front end we also have to display the street, city, state, address, all the details, but here we only have the ID, so we want to get the details of that address also. So for that I will use mongoose function, that is populate, that will populate this shipping info. Okay, so I will simply use here dot populate. Okay, so in that I have to pass the fields that I want to populate. So that is going to be shipping info and also the user. So it will expand the shipping info and the user instead of the IDs only. Okay, so now we have our orders here. So let's pass, so return the response here. So res dot status, that is going to be 200, and then oops, that is dot json. In that I will pass here order count, then I will pass in here the res per page, and then I will pass in here the orders. Okay, so this is our controller function. We have successfully implemented the pagination. We are only getting here the orders of the user, current user, and also we are populating 2 fields. One is the shipping info and one is the user, and at the end we are returning the response. So now simply close it from here. Now I go to my pages, in the orders, create a new file that is called me.js. Okay, so in that I will simply copy this from here and I put that here, and that is going to be my orders. Okay, and this is going to be a protected route, and that is a get route. Simply save it. So this is our route. Close this from here. Now on the front end we have to get all the orders. Okay, so for that I will first of all go to the app. In the app, in the me, I create a new folder here that is called orders, and then in the orders I create a new file that is called page.jsx. Okay, so in here I have to get all the orders of the user. Okay, so I will actually copy this from here because we also have to use cookies in here to get the orders, because this is a protected route. So first of all, that is going to be get orders. Okay, and that is going to be my orders page. Okay, so this is the name, and that is going to be orders. And what I will do here is, now I have to get in here the cookies, then I will get here the token, and now here I have to type /API/orders/me. Okay, so it will get the orders. Now I will return from here data. Okay, so I will pass in here the orders. Okay, if I log here orders, just to show you, simply save it. And if I go to my Chrome, and if I go to the user profile, go to the orders. Okay, and if I go back to here, we have some issue here. That is going to be this dot query dot limit is not a function. Okay, so I think so we have issue on the backend. So in the controllers, order controllers, I type here order dot find, save it, and now if I reload this page, so now you can see that here now we are on the /me/orders page. Okay, and if I go to the terminal, you can see that here where are the orders. You can see that now we have here the orders. So orders count 3, results are page 2, we only get here 2 results like this. Okay, so now we are getting the orders on the terminal. Okay, now we have to create our component, save it from here, and now let's go to the components, create a new folder here that is called orders. Okay, so now I go back to my Git repo, and here I go to the source. In the components I have here orders. Now you have here order item and list orders. Okay, so I will simply copy this from here, the list orders. Okay, I go back, and in the orders I create a new file that is called list orders.jsx. That is orders. I put that here. Okay, and then I go back. Now I have to copy this order item that contains a single order and hard-coded values. Okay, so I will copy that from here, and the component name is order item.jsx. So I will type here order item.jsx, and I put that here. Simply save it, and simply save it from here. And actually we don't need here this sidebar because we have already added the layout. Okay, so I will remove that from here, and we only need here this age 3 and then the order item. Okay, so I will remove this from here, save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here we have to actually type here the list orders, save it. And now you can see that here we get here your orders, and it contains here the hard-coded values. So now let's loop through on all orders and display that here. So I simply go back. Here I have orders that I have passed in here. You can see that. Okay, so I will simply type here that orders dot map on each order. I will display here the order item. Remember that we have here orders in there. Okay, so orders.order, we will order on each item. And now we also have to implement the pagination, which is quite simple. I will simply call here my custom pagination component. Okay, and in that I have just pass here res per page, and that is going to be orders dot res per page. Oops, res per page, and then I have to type in here the products count, that is going to be orders dot orders count. Save it from here, and now if I go back, uh, that is orders, save it, and now if I go back, you can see that here we get here two orders on the front page. If I click on two, now you can see that I don't get here the third um, order, and you can see that we also have here page is equal to. Now just have to pass that page on the back end. Okay, so for that what I will do is I will simply go back and then go to the page.jsx. Here I have to pass in all, I also have to pass the page to the backend to get the new results. So I will simply type here const URL params, and in that we have here page. So that is going to be search params, and we will get the search params from here. Okay, and we will pass here in the get orders. Okay, and we will get that here. So search params dot page, or by default it is going to be 1. Now we have to pass this on the backend, so for that I will use my package that I have used before. So search query, that is going to be query string. Okay, dot I have a function called stringify, in that I will pass in here the URL params. Okay, so now I will pass this search query to the backend. Okay, so I will pass that right here. Simply save it from here, and also I remove this from here. Save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here now I get here my third order. If I click on page 1, now I am on the page number 1, and this is page number 2. So pagination is also implemented on the orders page. So now let's display the details of the order. So I will simply go back to my VS Code and go on the order items. So for each order item, I will first of all type here key, that is going to be order.id. Then I will pass in here the order. Okay, so now I will get the order here, and I have to display the details one by one. So first of all the order ID, so that is going to be order.id. Okay, or order underscore id, I think so. And for this processing, what I will do here is I will simply type that if order status is equal to processing, okay, then I will display here span, give it class of text dash red dash 500. Okay, and that I will display in here the order status. Okay, dot to uppercase. Okay, and else I will copy this from here. I will display here green. Okay, if I simply save it from here, now if I go back, you can see that here if it is in processing, then I will display here red color. If otherwise, I will display here the green color if it is shipped or delivered. Okay, so I also cut this from here, and I put that here and also here. Save it, and now we have here this dot as well. Okay, so now after that we have here the date. So I will display here order dot created at dot substring. I will only display here the time, that is date, that is from 0 to 10. Okay, and then I will display in here the username, that is going to be order dot user dot name. Remember that we have populated the user from the backend. Now we can access the name here. Okay, and for the phone number, I will use here dot shipping info dot phone number, and for the email I will use here user dot email. Save it. Now if I go back, so created at, I will use here question mark. Okay, so that is going to be order dot created at. If I log here the order, so log order, simply save it. And now if I check it here, you can see that here we have this create at. Okay, so we have typo on the backend. So right now I will just use it as it is. You can correct that from the backend in the model. Okay, so that is this. Save it, and now we get here the date. Now let's display the delivery address and then the payment details. Okay, so I scroll down, and here I have to display the street. That is going to be this. Okay, I will copy and paste all that here. That is going to be street. Then we have here the city. Then we have here the state, then the zip code, and then we have here the country. And for the payment details, I will type here, or I paste that here. That is going to be shipping, sorry, payment info. So order dot payment info dot status dot to upper case. Save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here now we get here the delivery addresses, the payment status. Now let's display the tax and the total amount that user has paid. Okay, so it is going to be order dot payment info dot tax paid. Okay, so this is the tax paid, and then we have here the um, amount paid. Save it, and now we have here the tax amount and then the total paid. And now let's display the order items that user has purchased. So I will simply go back, and I have to use the loop here. So I will use this before this figure. That is going to be order dot order items dot map on each order item. In that I have to display all the items. So first of all I have to display in here the product name. So that is going to be item dot name. So this order item dot name, or just call it item. Okay, and dot substring, because we are going to have a giant product name, so I will display only here like 30 to 35 characters. Okay, and then I will display, simply save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here you get here only first 35 characters. You can also change that if you want. Okay, so now let's display the image and the other details. So for the image I will use here next image. Okay, so I will import image from next slash image. So in the source I will simply use here like item dot image. Save it, and now you can see that here we get here the product images. Great. So now for the alt text I will use here item dot name, and then we have to display in here the quantity. So that is going to be item dot quantity, and then here we have to display it the amount. So I will type here item dot price multiply by item dot quantity. Save it, and now you can see that here we get the all details. So we have here the image, the name of the product, the quantity, and then the total amount like 698 this and 1299 this, and total is going to be this. All right, if I go to the page 2, you can see that here we have this details. So we have 3 orders right now in our database, so it is displaying all the details here. I hope that you understand. And one more thing we have to do here is we also have to clear the cart items once user has purchased the item. For example, if I have purchased this item, I also have to clear the cart item. Sorry, I have to also clear the cart. Okay, so for that I will simply go to my VS Code. Okay, and then I go here in the context, in the cart context. Let's create a new function here. Let's call it const clear cart, and here I will simply set here local storage dot remove item, and that I have to simply pass in here the cart. So it will remove this cart from the local storage, and that will clear the cart. So now then I have to set items to cart. What is that? So set cart to state, like this. Simply save it, and now we have to simply pass that function here. Save it, and now I close this from here, and then I go back in here. I will simply pass in here const, that is going to be use context, and then here I will pass here the cart context. So from here we have access to the clear cart. Okay, so if I go to my the backend in the controller, in the order controllers, you can see that here on the success order, I can show you here. So on success, we are moving the user to /me/orders, and remember that we have also set here a flag that is order success is equal to true. So we will check that if order success is equal to true, then we will simply clear the cart items. Okay, so let me show you how it will work. I simply go back. Now I have to get this order success from the query. So I will simply type here const order success. Okay, that is going to be params dot get, and I put that here. And for the params, I will simply type here const params is going to be use search params. Okay, and for the redirection I also import here router. So router is going to be use router. Okay, and we have to import the use router also from next/navigation, not from here. Save it. So now we have here the value of order success. So what I will do here is I will simply use here use effect. Okay, I will simply check that if we have order success which is true, if it has true value, then I will simply clear the cart. Okay, then I also type here router dot replace to /me/orders. Okay, so we will simply reload this page, you can say that. Simply save it, and now let's test it out. Okay, so I will simply go back, and let's click here continue, select this address, click on checkout, enter here the details, click on pay. So payment is successful, and you can see that here we get this error that we have to use here use client, because we have used here hook, so we have to make that client side component to use that. So I will paste that here, and now you can see that here we have our fourth order here, this one. If I go to the cart, you can see that we have 0 item in the cart is now empty, and this means that our clear cart is working properly. So in this way, with the help of that flag, we can clear the cart items after placing the order. Alright, so I hope that you understand. If you have any confusion, you can post your question in the comment section. I will try my best to respond there, and also you can get the source code of this video from the description of this video. Okay, so I will see you in the next lecture, in which we will start working on the admin routes.